Racing to the 2020 Kentucky Oaks. It's the first Friday in May, and it must be the Oaks. No, it is the Fantasy Stakes at Oaklawn Park, part of the monster weekend for Oaklawn Park coming up to close out the meet. And we'll take a look at this 14-horse field as the kind of the substitute for the spring Kentucky Oaks. Traditionally, the Fantasy Stakes does draw some good horses, but the winners have really not gone on to do well in the Kentucky Oaks. We'll see this year as we get a full field, and some pretty top contenders have opted for this race, especially with other racetracks not running. A couple of horses have 8 Quirin speed points, so that'll be a factor as we discuss that, and a couple of horses with triple-digit Brisnet speed figures to take a look at in this race. Ice Princess is 3 for 4 lifetime. A nice victory the last time out in a kind of a minor stakes race, picked up an 89 Brisnet, and that was an improvement from 2 races ago when Ice Princess picked up an 84. She is a winner. She comes from off the pace. I think that could be an advantage. She's got a pedigree to run definitely this distance, 8.5 furlongs, and I like that inside post, good current form, and a competitive speed figure that puts her in the mix, especially if you're looking at superfecta wagers. The most likely race favorite, Venetian Harbor, a 102 Brisnet speed figure the last time, but again, it's not how fast they run, it's how they run fast. Now, the last race, she was a preeminent 3 to 5, 2 to 5 favorite, small field, the best horse in the race. She opened up by a length at the 6 furlong call and then won by 9 lengths, but she really didn't face anybody in that race. She's had a long layoff. She hasn't run since February 8th. She's been working strong. She had a bullet on March 29th, 46 and 4, then 5 furlongs on April 4th. She comes in, she's got a ship surfaces and 2.5 months off. Venetian Harbor is your deserving race favorite, but there are a couple of little warning signs. Long layoff, she does have to ship, and the pedigree is a little bit, you're not quite sure a mile and 1/8, a mile and 1/16 is her ultimate best distance, but she may just tower over this field on speed. Swiss Skydiver right next to her also has a 100 Brisnet speed figure. 100 right on the dot. That was at Gulfstream Park in the Oaks. That was an interesting race that day. She ended up on the lead. She had never been on the lead at the second call or the stretch call, and she slowed down the pace. 49 for the 4 furlongs, 113.1. She went off at 9 to 1 that day. Definitely going to be a lower price here. She's from Daredevil, the second crop of Daredevil, and Swiss Skydiver, definitely a contender on Brisnet speed points. Paco Lopez is off today. Brian Hernandez rides. That should not be an issue as he rides for McPeak in the past. So I think Swiss Skydiver definitely has the Brisnet speed figure to be competitive in a spot like this. Lake Avenue, another one who ran 3rd in the Gulfstream Park Oaks. I think she can be more forwardly placed than she was last time out. She was the one that kind of laid back and allowed Swiss Skydiver to get that early lead. Lake Avenue closed out the year with a big win in the Demoiselle, but that was a day when the speed was holding all day long, and a lot of those horses have come back and run subpar performances that went to the lead in that card on Demoiselle Day. Also, the Remsen was that day, and the Cigar Mile. So Lake Avenue, I think she runs better on the front end. I think she's probably a little bit better than that race 2 races back, but she does have a 96 Brisnet speed figure, which puts her in the top 4. Harvey's little Goyle, Bill Mott sends out this trainee. Big victory in the last race, the Busanda. And I think that Brisnet speed figure is a little bit low. I think the DRF speed figure is a little bit low. She got a 97 on the Brisnet scale. I think she's capable of running a 100 to a 101 Brisnet speed figure, which puts her right in the mix. But again, she's another one. She's got 2 months off with all of this crazy COVID stuff. A lot of these horses just not getting their normal race routines in, and it's a matter of who is going to really go all out here off the layoff. You've got Venetian Harbor to her inside, but Harvey's little Goyle has looked impressive. She is by American Pharoah out of a Tappet, so blue blood pedigree on both sides, and definitely should like the distance. Harvey's little Goyle, 2 big victories back-to-back, and definitely a contender in this race. Kansas Kiss ran 2nd the last time out, opened up a big lead at 13 to 1 and was just nipped on the wire. 87 Brisnet speed figure, a 96.2 back. She has speed to be close to the pace. I think she's going to set good fractions here. Again, can she just close the deal? She's got to go up a little bit in class, but she is in form, and a key consideration, she does have 7 lifetime races, so she's got a little bit more of a bottom than some of these other horses. She Dares the Devil, another one with 6 lifetime starts. I think that could be an advantage for her. Brad Cox sends out this one. A nice win the last time out in the Honeybee. She beat Alta's Award and Motu in that race. She kind of split horses late, and I thought I like the fact that she just ran through those horses and really looked good from a professional standpoint. 87 Brisnet speed figure. That paired up an 88 the race before that, and she does have an 89 as a 2-year-old in a juvenile race, so she's got some bottom to go back to. I like the fact she had 4 races last year, 2 races this year. Joel Rosario, the truth rides, and She Dares the Devil. If Venetian Harbor and Harvey's Little Goyle do not like that layoff, She Dares the Devil could be a top contender here. Ringleader is another one who has those 8 Brisnet speed figure points, wired 3 straight races to start her career, then went up in class, lost in the Honeybee, lost in the Purple Mountain. I think she's going a little off form, and she's probably a better sprinter. Plus, she's facing other speed. Smokin' Joe Talamo rides. Ringleader 20-1 on my morning line. Lady Glamour, Kenny Smith sends out. Now, he's a good Oaklawn Park trainer. Had a little bit of a rough meet this year, 4 for 58, because of the increased competition. The Santa Anita trainers coming in, some of the New York trainers coming in, some of the Gulfstream Park trainers coming in. But Kenny Smith, for many years, has ran some nice races and good horses at Oaklawn Park. Seems to be a little bit overmatched in this spot, but she does have some speed. 7 lifetime starts. Again, I like that bottom for Lady Glamour. British Idiom, the juvenile champion, started off the year with a 4-length loss to Finite. Now that was when Finite ran off the screen that day. British Idiom was going to be no match for Finite. She's had another month and a half to train. She switches surfaces again. Javier Castellano rides. British Idiom, can she get back to that 2-year-old form? I think overall she was just one of those win early types. I don't think she's ever really going to approach that form again, but at least that extra training time and a full field here allows her to come running against some speed in this race. Fire Corral is lightly raced, back-to-back wins for the daughter of Curlin out of an AP Indy mare. Another blue blood win all day long, run all day long pedigree. Fire Corral will be interesting. Steve Asmussen trains, and he usually does well on this closing weekend at Oaklawn Park. New York Groove, 5 starts, 4 wins. Hard to fault that. Verrazano's already been shipped out of the country. Meanwhile, Florida Oaks was her most recent race, a 10-length loss after opening her career with 4 victories. Again, now she's got to face tougher horses. Venetian Harbor, Swiss Skydiver, Harvey's Little Goyle, British Idiom. I think New York Groove is going to be a little outmatched in this spot. Lacy Daisy, back-to-back stakes races to close out last year. First start of 2020 in a tough spot. Daughter of Paintner for Doug O'Neill. He can win races like this off a layoff, but I just think a little outmatched, and I'm not sure of the pedigree going a mile and a 16th. Alta's Award, Steve Asmussen's second trained horse in this race. Like the Daughter of Tonalist, those horses tend to be smaller. It's his first crop, but I've noticed all of them tend to be kind of small little fillies and colts. We'll see what she does. I do like the pedigree to go long. Medaglia d'Oro on the broodmare side adds some distance and some class, and should add some speed and distance from the Tonalist side. 2 for 4 wins. I thought that was a better than looked race in the Honeybee. She looked like she was going to win before She Dares the Devil split horses late, but that was her first race since February 14th. She's been working steadily since that race. The knock is the post position, but I think this is one to watch later on this summer. Alta's Award out of that 14th post, especially if nobody scratches. I have a feeling we'll have a scratch by the time race day comes along. Who do you like in the first Friday in May? It's the Fantasy Stakes. British Idiom. Do you think she can get back on track? Remember, hit subscribe. We need 500 subscribers, and you could be the 500th one. Hit that subscribe button. Also, leave a comment. Who do you like in the Fantasy Stakes? And we'll also have a preview of the Arkansas Derby coming up soon. Hit subscribe, like, share this video as we race you up to the 2020 Kentucky Oaks.